Why has this not gone right? Good evening, viewers of Playwright. It's been a while since I've been hosting something, so I'll blabber a lot today. Be prepared for that. Put in some cotton wool. Today we have with us Rashael and Mishael Kanwal, two ace skiers from Narkanda in Himachal Pradesh who've been skiing all their lives. Not just skiing, I mean, they did a lot of summer sports. We will find out what they do, what got them into skiing, where is skiing headed in the country. A lot of things about powder and piste and slaloms and slopes and off-piste. So there's so much to know about skiing, and it's a popular sport in the West, in Europe and America. It's picking up a lot of popularity in India. So good evening, girls. How are you?
Hello, good evening, everybody.
How are things in whichever part of the world you are in right now? Things are good. How's the pandemic?
They are good right now. Let's hoping for the best.
Okay. And Michelle, with you?
Everything's fine. Learning to live with the lockdown, curfew, and a new lifestyle. Just trying to live.
Trying to live, yes, trying to survive. I think that's
Yeah.
motto is right now. Okay, so quick question. The first one I'll go to Michelle because you're the younger one. At what age did you start skiing?
I started skiing when I was 5 years of age, and since then I've been skiing. Yes.
So, and you, Rochelle, you were 7 or 8 or 5 or what age were you?
No, I was 2 years and probably 6 months when I started skiing, and I was not even walking properly when I started to slide down on skis.
Wow, 2.5. That's kind of like, I mean, I read somewhere Tiger Woods started golf when he was 4, but you kind of reached it. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
2.5. That's amazing. Yeah. And your parents were not paranoid about you skiing at the age of 2.5, or were they okay with it?
They were more, passionate about it because my father was the one who introduced me at this very young age, and
Right.
he has that the very eagerness of seeing his child into a sport like this, and being just to motivate me for that.
Okay. And do you remember your first experience with skis or how you felt like being on that snow? I mean, 2.5 is too young memory to form.
Actually, when I was 2.5, I probably don't remember exactly the memories, but I still recall the pictures I have. So in which somewhere I'm falling and sometime I'm crying and I have my father beside me. So I just remember through those pictures, those parts, those time that I was skiing.
So Rochelle, Rochelle had been skiing for about whatever your age gap is plus 2.5. And Michelle, you started at 5. So there was a huge gap you have to cover, right? Were you able to do it?
Sorry?
Were you able to cover
if I remember, I don't remember when I started skiing, but I just remember watching Rashael ski, and I used to be very young and be scared and used to cry on the ground that, oh God, she'll fall, she'll fall, she'll fall. And I don't know my part, but I remember crying for her that she'll fall coming down from the hill. That's what I remember about the start of skiing.
And how long did it take for you to catch up and become quite proficient as she was, as good as she was?
I played my first national in 2008, and that is when I got to know, yes, I've become a professional now. I can compete, because before that I had no clue what am I going to do with skiing. But the first time in 2008 when I participated in the first national and got the first gold itself, so that was the start point for all of that. Yeah.
Michelle, you started at 2.5, and your father introduced you to the sport, and he was already into the sport. But did you have someone coach you professionally and see that talent in you come out at an early age? How did that happen?
Yes, I have a coach named Mr. Champanegi. He is a very good friend of my dad. So when he took me to the slope at that tender age, my father just like a friend, he used to help me ski and all that. And so, like slowly and gradually, I started learning his techniques and his ways, and that's how he became a coach of mine. And he still is.
Oh, he's still coaching you.
Yes, yes, sometimes.
Other than Mr. Negi, do you have some other international coaches advising you? And working
Yes,
with
I have attended a lot of international camps in Italy, in Austria, and I have Mr. Nicole from there and Mr. Teddy Brand. He was here in Jammu and Kashmir, I think 5 or 6 years back. So these
okay.
are the coaches I've been trained under.
And Michelle, you have the same coach, or do you have a different coach?
Yes, completely
Same,
same.
same
Yeah,
coach. Okay.
yeah.
Uh, so Italy, you did mention that Italy will come to Austria and Italy a little later. But tell us a little bit about skiing. What are the different kind of races that happen in skiing? For people who are still not into skiing at all and watching this show right now.
The kind of races, so there are many different kind of skis actually. There's a Nordic skiing, there's alpine skiing, then is ski jumping. Nordic is it's kind of a marathon. So you don't come down you do come down a hill, but it's not that inclined, and the slope is not that long for the inclination. You
Yes.
normally have to do a marathon, which can be 21 kilometers or above or small, or
Okay.
little length, and that's kind of a marathon with a ski. Then coming to ski jumps is kind of a Nordic ski only, and it's a freestyle skiing. Like it's you can it can be done in an inclination, or can be like done like with the roller boards. There's a gap in between the cliff, like that. Or then the other one is the ski which we do. That's the alpine ski. That can be downhill, giant slalom, slalom, super giant slalom. So everything has a different category to be specialized in. Uh, so that,
So what is the difference between a slalom and a giant slalom?
Slalom is basically short turns, you can say, in a very rough language, and it
Okay.
is more of a technique based. And
Mhm.
giant slalom is like a long run race with the probably 60, 70 gates, and it has more of a speed but less of a technique.
Okay.
so
And which is
basically,
more difficult between slalom and giant slalom? Which is more
It
difficult?
actually it actually depends on the individual, but according to me, what I feel is slalom is more difficult because it has a lot of techniques. You have to concentrate on the speed, you have to concentrate on the technique, on the gates you take, on the quickness, how agile you are, how uh, flexible you are.
reflex. Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, there are gates on the ski course. There are gates. So for
Right.
slalom, the distance between two gates is smaller. So you have to take a turn immediately.
Right.
And for GS, we have a larger difference. So you go to one end of the course, to the other end of the course, and then you go down. So
So it's
that's,
smoother. Yeah. The descent
yeah.
is smoother in a
you
giant.
There is
probably have
no time to think about the turn. Whereas in
exactly.
slalom, you have to, you just see the next gate coming before you are over the gate prior. So it's
Right.
like that.
Perfect. So we do get to watch some winter sports here in India as well at times. In the news they do show some clippings if you're lucky enough. But now one understands the difference between a James Bond movie and actual skiing, because in a few James Bond movies you have had what you termed as Nordic skiing. It's cross country mainly,
Yeah.
and, not the downhill. Right. So tell me, skiing, I believe, is a pretty expensive sport. First, let's talk about how expensive it is, and then we'll come to other matters associated with it.
Talking about the expenses of the skis, we probably don't get a proper ski pair in India. So anyhow, we have to buy it from outside. It is more expensive than here. And
Right.
it takes about, if you have a correct measurement, correct radius, correct size, you probably buy one ski pair, just the running board, the carbon board itself, for maybe a lakh or 1 lakh and a half. And if you add bindings to it, you have 50,000 or 60,000 more. And then you have the shoe, then you have the 70 to 80,000 more. So all the package you talk about the gear, it probably runs 4 to 5 lakhs if you want to have a top gear, like you have to compete in the Olympics and they are using a gear, and they probably change it every year. The rules
Right.
changes. So we have to spend like around 5 lakh for a proper maintained gear.
Wow. So the rules change very often, or is the longevity with the.
It probably does. It depends upon the Olympics, on the FIS races they hold. So the time of the record they make, the shortest time they hold. So according to that, they change the equipments and the rules and the measurements.
So you have to spend like 5 lakhs a year just to maintain equipment.
Maintain, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're not eligible to participate in a race internationally. If we
Wow.
don't have a proper gear, even if we have a size like say one size smaller than what is expected, we are not allowed to participate in any of the international events.
It's
Okay.
just about the gear. We have expenditure for even maintaining those gear. We have the
Yeah.
vacuum machine. It is in crores. We have the uh, edging machine. It is also again in lakhs. So if we are not the one who are going to buy all those, but we just can afford us our own ski pairs, and then
Yeah.
we just go to these workshops outside and we ask them to just maintain it for us.
Are they easy to find in India, such workshops, or are they difficult?
There's no
No,
no
there
workshop here
is
in
no
India.
workshop, but yes, they have tried one in Uttarakhand, but it is not that successful yet.
So you don't have waxing machines and all in India?
No, we
Like,
don't have a proper
If we tell
maintaining
you
gear in
how we
India.
actually wax our skis,
yes.
I think if people internationally are watching us, they may laugh at us. We take a wax, that's a candle. We press it with a iron, the one which with which we iron our clothes. We try to
Right.
melt it, drops on our skis, and then iron the ski with that so that we melt.
Wow.
We put a layer of wax on this. Then we scratch it so that it comes all in. We need it to be all uniform. We don't need
Uniform.
any kind of because if there is any kind of up and down, then there might be some kind of
Then the speed
resistivity.
is also, yeah, the speed
Yeah,
is not
we
fast.
the resistivity increases.
Wow, that is amazingly. I think we are so far behind in time in equipment that only that performance will be impacted if you guys have to wax something in that such a primitive way. This is like you're living in the stone age, and the rest of the world is in 2020. That's the
Yes,
kind of.
exactly. It actually takes a lot of effort in doing all that because you have to scratch all the bit. You literally sweat yourself out when you have to maintain and scratch it all.
How often in a year do you have to do this?
It's not according to the year, it's according to the number of time you use it and the way you use it. If you are using it 5 to 10 times, maybe you need to wax it. And when you are in a racing, so in before after every race, you have to wax and scrap it off.
So maybe in a day, if you do 10 runs, you need to
Yes,
redo it every day. So all
yes.
these altitudes we have, or all these ski slopes that we have in India, they wouldn't have these machines either.
They have tried, but they are not too successful. There is some problem with the wax because it comes from outside internationally. They get it somehow, and then that gets over. Then we have to use another white wax, the candle, and so there is a maintenance issue. The person who comes from outside he fix it, but here people are not able to just properly use it. Actually, they have less knowledge about the machinery.
So lack of knowledge, lack of equipment. I mean, all these things are staring at us. So while we are working out, the cost of being a skier. Tell me, Michelle, how expensive is it to get coaching for skiing?
It's very expensive to get coaching for skiing because, firstly, you have to go abroad. You have to spend your own money to buy your tickets, to stay over there. Then, people like us who do not have anybody to tell us where to get coaching and everything, do not even, like layman, do not even have an idea who's going to coach us. So, recently, I was watching this, I was finding somebody to, coach me there in Austria, and I had to send them a mail. And when I sent them a mail, I received the reply, and that was around 90,000 dollars for training
$90,000
for, yeah, for
for
training
what?
for $9,000. I'm sorry, for a training for like 5 6 days,
Wow. Okay,
just
so
six
it's
days.
fifteen hundred
Yeah,
dollars.
Yeah, so that's quite expensive, and I don't think anybody in India can, on their own, budget that much of training, which is just for a week, and a week training does no good for a skier internationally.
Absolutely. I believe a good trainer would cost you somewhere between $500 to $800 an hour. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Actually, I just the story of last year. I had planned to take training in Saint Moritz in Switzerland, and I had enrolled myself into a school, and I got their fee slip, and it was around about 4 lakhs for I guess two months. So I will have to always rethink of going to it, and it is just about the lodging and staying and not even practicing. The coach fee is excluded from there. So per day I think €1,000 or thousand, you can say, uh, even dollars, forget about euros, it is too much for us.
Right. So how do you bridge the funding? Are the sponsors easily available? Is support coming from state associations or something? How does this work?
This actually
There,
works through the government of India,
Okay.
and the people who are here in the association have to we have a team, and they are sent out abroad for the coaching, and they are probably the people who are in the merit. They do not spend on the people who are not on the merit. It's not possible for everybody to just stand on the podium every time, and
Right.
you always have fluctuation in that. So only the people who are in the merit, they will go outside, and rest of them will have to spend their own.
Mhm. So do you get sponsors or no? You are not able to get sponsors, or this
it's
is
it's
parents are
very
supporting?
difficult to get sponsors. It's very difficult to get sponsors for a sport like skiing, because if you talk to somebody about skiing from in southern India, people don't even have an idea about it. So there's
Mhm.
no awareness about, first of it, winter sports in India, and then particularly skiing. People don't even know that, when I used to tell my friends that I ski, I had to tell them that this is the same thing which Tom does, Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
So I had to
Okay.
explain them with the example of Tom. It's the same thing that Tom does in Christmas. Do you remember? Then they used to recollect, Acha, the thing with two sticks in their foot. I was like, yeah,
So
that's
Michelle, that's an interesting point.
that's it.
You are studying way down central South India, right? We'll not name the city. Are people aware
Yeah.
that you are a skier and what skiing is, or no, in that part of the country?
Um, to be very
Partially, I
honest,
think they
not
does.
even half of Himachal knows. It. Let's not talk about India. Let's talk about Himachal from where we are.
Himachal.
If you go to the southern part of Himachal, I think in Himachal 60% of people do not know what skiing is,
Wow.
because we are not we this if skiing was so much, people knew about it, n- it would have been in a greater better place, because if there is awareness, there is more people, there might have been better sponsors as in government, because uh, sports attracts people, and
Right.
and especially a sport like skiing, when India has so much adrenaline in people, they love to withdraw their adrenaline in a gym. If they
Right.
get a place like in a normal gym, they go every day, they work out over there. If India gets a play thing like skiing or any other adventure sport, say river rafting or anything, so
Right.
they can withdraw their adrenaline in a better place, in a better way.
Right.
And awareness about skiing and winter sports is first and the foremost thing that we need to do right now,
And
because
how do you guys propose to do that? Are the two of you trying to push your passion and creating more awareness? Are you doing something?
um, I have it's a very small step, but I started a YouTube channel. I try to introduce what winter sports is with
Okay.
my name, that is Mishael Kanwal, and I have a Instagram account where my main motive is to tell people about winter sports and skiing, and because it's very important that we uh, we
Connected
introduce
people.
people to things like that. Yeah, because the most important thing is that people should know, should be,
Right.
then only second thing, improving what to do, how to do is secondary. Primarily people should know what it is.
Okay. So we need
People
to
go
get
to
that.
other countries, Switzerland and other countries, and they see skiing over there, and they don't even know that this is being done there in India, in their own motherland, and in a way that there are international events happening in India. There was one in Oli in which Rochelle participated. Then there are players from India who are going abroad to play. So there's no light on them, and every sport should be equal. Equality is must.
Right. Oh, the equality in that way sense is a long time coming. We've had several discussions on that. That is something not we touch upon. It's a sensitive topic, but there is something that I want to understand is that, Rachel, especially from you, that I see in your CV a gap between 2013 and 2018 as a skier. Could you throw some light on that?
Yeah, sadly, I will have to mention there was a very great political interference in my career, and it was through some people from the federation or association I would not mention. So it started when we were going for the Youth Olympics, and someone other person's name was recommended while I was holding the shortest fist point, shortest number one position in India that time, and
Mhm.
it was just due to that, and then I was more focused on less. I just broke myself, and I thought, just forget it. I don't want to do it. I'll just focus on my studies and come back. When I really get settled in life, a good job and good, I have a stamina to stand up against the federation and everybody. So
Mhm.
that was the reason for the gap actually.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
if I would like to explain it better, so there are age categories in India, in every sport. Okay, so there's a sub junior, there's a junior, there's a senior, there's a children.
right,
So it was 2013 or 12 to be mentioned when the Youth Olympic was there, and we both were national champions in our categories. So we were
right,
the most eligible players in India to be sent, or to be at least named. Acha, you
right,
can at
Recommended.
least mention at least.
right,
But it was not the case. We were lied that she's 94, I'm 97. So
right.
we were lied, and we were told, we were frauded by saying that 95 and 96 is the only category which is eligible for Youth Olympics.
Oh,
And so obviously when we were not only allowed, when we don't have an age group only, we are nobody to question anybody
and you
that
guys
why
didn't
aren't we going.
you
Yeah,
didn't have
so that was a lie.
We got to know
Yeah,
this really later after everything was
yeah.
over. So we
oh,
tried to find out that I think Youth Olympics were just not for this age category. Like everybody knows it's for
Obviously, why would be there
every.
only a 2 year gap for Olympic thing to happen?
right.
So we were lied, and then obviously, since we were growing up, we were skiing. We just wanted to represent India in Olympics. That was the ultimate destination we wanted to reach ever since 2.5 and 5 years of age. And when that was snatched from us, that was something which not only broke us, but our parents, my grandfather, who's been a very big hand behind us, used to wake up at 5 a.m. with us in every winters when we used to be home. Used to wake up at 5 a.m. for us, take us to a jog. You know, nothing comes in a silver plate like that. You have to work for it, and we used to work for it. And from early morning at 5 to 7 p.m. we had a strict schedule. And in India we don't even have ski lifts to ski. Okay, like in at abroad we have, like, you sit in a ski lift, you go up, you ski down, you concentrate more on skiing down. We we used to
Right.
go with a ski on our shoulder, which is almost like 3-4 kgs, with the shoes of 3 kgs, walk in the snow. Up the hill we used to walk, and then come down. So majority of our time used to be spent on going up, then coming down, which is the main important part.
Right.
Like,
Right.
So that's how we grew up, and when that was snatched from us, it was so disheartening that it is like it's still like it is still taking us time to overcome with it,
So
because
now,
youth olympics is never gonna come back, and we'll never be a youth again to to be able to represent in it.
but then the largest goal is to qualify for the main Olympics now. Beijing 2022 is 2 years away or 3 years away because of the pandemic. So are you guys working towards that? Are you preparing and trying to win the national championship back and get back into the groove for that? Is that happening?
Yeah, actually, we are planning to participate in this if everything goes right and in our way. We've been
Right.
mentally prepared, and rather than physically being prepared right now, we have to be mentally strong because of the epidemic and of the after having so much of gap in our career, and we have to suddenly come back. So we have to just be, very determined in our goal that we have to do it. So yes, we are just focusing and working on it mentally and physically both.
So what is the gap between India's best and you guys right now? Without naming
Sorry.
any names, whoever are India's best in your category, what you do, what is the gap? Is there a large gap between you and number one, or is it easily catchable?
To be honest, I just participated in 2020 this year in
Right,
January. So
right,
I had got back on skis after I guess 5 to 6 years, and
right,
I had seen myself performing so well. I had a fall on the slope, and if I would have come down safely, I would have definitely got a position out of that. So I did not see a lot of difference, but I was very confident about my capability of performing, because it was never that I had it was always that I have always won a gold medal in every situation, every nationals. It is never
right,
that I've got a silver, and it is those people who are way behind, way ahead now. They were way behind that time.
Behind.
So,
Yeah.
so
So
when
you,
I saw
right.
myself there, actually, I
Actually,
wanted to participate in this nationals only to see where I stand and how much I have to work next on the 22nd Olympics.
if
So
I if I um
I
yeah, yeah,
got my
say.
idea of how and where I stand. So I have to accordingly work now physically also, and in my training sessions with skis also.
If
Michelle, you
I
want?
answer your question of the gap is the summer training, the gap is the facilities, the gap is the equality, and the gap is the you know
Exposure.
exposure. Because if not only we, not two of us, any skier in India who's sent abroad for like couple of months for summer training, it's a large difference when you come back on the field in India, because you learn many different things. You
Right.
learn many different things. It's completely different. The snow condition, the techniques, your equipment
You
is
won't. I'm
very
sorry to
important.
disturb. You won't believe I participated this year. So I was participating with the old equipment which was provided to me when I was participating 6 years back. And there I had to participate with people who had the best of equipments, the best of facilities, training, exposure. Every year they spend like 5 to 6 months abroad training themselves out, and I was here just, I spent like a month just to see where I stand, and that was also probably not a proper training. So
So, but
if we have a proper training, I'm sure there is no gap in any of the athletes, not
so
only us.
in that sense, the pandemic has been good as a great leveler because nobody this year has been able to get any training or go anywhere. And I think from that perspective, maybe this will work in your favor.
To be
No,
very honest,
I would
there
not
is
take
a
this as a
6 8 years.
positive thing. But
Yeah, because
I always, as a sports person, I always want every person should be getting all the facilities. It's your destiny, it's your luck how you do it, and it's not only bad for us; it may be bad for them also. So, unka pura workout is getting disturbed, their training is getting disturbed. So I think it's not too good for us, not for them either.
to be very honest, you saying it's a leveler. It's a 8 years rest for us and a 8 years continuous training for the other people. So
True.
it's,
That is
it'll never be a leveler for us. We have missed that part of our life, and
absolutely
we if we want to get back to slow. See, we both of us do not dream of coming first in India, or just participating in Olympics. That was never our dream. We
right.
always wanted a medal. Always. If today also, after 8 years of rest, if somebody asks us what do you want to do in life, it'll always be we want a medal in Olympic. It'll never be we want to participate in Olympics. That's the difference of keeping your goals and working towards it, and what do you call it, like the passion in you. That's the difference in passion.
Once the pandemic goes away, hopefully soon, and flights start and everything, are the two of you planning to go abroad and train and make up for lost time, which is impossible, of course. But are there some plans like that?
Yes, there are
Mm,
plans like that. And I was, like I said, mentioned earlier, I was planning to go to St. Mortis. So I will just get back to that and try and figure out how I can arrange all this and, be a part of that school and practice myself. And have a good training, have a good coach, and there are people who probably take you out for your FIS races, which is very important for the Olympics. So we plan to just go. I personally planned myself that I should join that school and play a few FIS races so that I can make up for Olympics 2022.
Okay. So summer training, is there, if you don't go to Europe or to the US or wherever else where there is snow at this time in the summers, any facilities in India that provide summer training?
Summer training, see, if you compare summer training in abroad and here, in abroad they have grass skiing, if not snow skiing. They have grass skiing, they have roller skate skiing and all that. That's how their summer are spent. But for us here, I still remember once there was no snow here in India. My dad was sitting in a car, and my dad was driving a car. My coach was sitting back in the dicky, and he was holding that rod for me, and I was taken I had taken a rope. I was wearing those roller skates on the road early before the traffic starts, and we had to practice with that. So
yeah.
it was way back 5 years back. So that is how our non-snow weeks or non-snow months go. So and just the workout, if we talk about in the summers, going to the gym, running, jogging. Okay, fine, they're good for your body, your strength, your endurance. But the kind of physical fitness you need for skiing, it is probably you get it only on those boards, not on
How,
the exercise.
how important is mental fitness?
How important
Mental
the mental?
mental strength, yes.
Definitely, it has a great role in all not only in sports, in all fields. You have to be mentally strong, stable. Your concentration should be just on what you want, what your goals are, and you don't have to just get distracted by there are going to be a lot of distractions in your life, like from the teenager distractions, from the peer pressure distractions, from sometimes the parental pressure distractions, studies distractions, this and that. But when you are mentally strong and determined, I don't think it is difficult for you to just focus on what you want.
So how did you deal growing up? How did you deal with these distractions, and how were you able to get away from them? It's an important lesson
Actually,
for yours.
yeah, I would really like to tell you that I belong to a sports family. my dad, my granddad, mom, everybody is a good sports person, and they have channelized my energy in such a way that uh, I am always ready to play any sport, because be it table tennis, be it carom board, be it chess, any sport. So they have channelized my energy in such a way that I do not get time to think about all the rest of the distractions that people are dealing with today. So I think the channelization of energy leads to a very good example of concentrating on your goals.
Michelle, tell me that I read somewhere that you were a national level basketball player as well. What are the other sports
Yeah.
that you have been into, and why did you choose skiing over everything else?
So basketball was part of my summer training. There's nothing in India we can do to stay fit. And in school, even Rochelle plays basketball. Even she's a national b-baller, and she's
Oh,
played in the universities also in basketball. So we used to play basketball to stay fit. It was the easiest preferable game we could do. We could play, and a lot of stamina is required. You at least stay in a mood of a sports person the entire summer also when you play basketball. And
Actually, this
it's just
sport was
summer training.
introduced to me in Austria. My coach, he had taken us out for some recreational activities, and there he said, "Why don't you guys try play basketball?" So
Basketball.
that time it was the first time I held the ball and I started shooting, and he suggested me that I think you should take basketball as your alternative sport. So here, coming back to India, then I started, practicing with the ball, and then suddenly I gave a trial for my state championships and I got selected, and that's how I got to know, okay, fine, this can be also done when you don't have skiing to do.
okay.
Plus, choosing skiing was never an option. Skiing is like a habit, like walking, it's
Priority.
skiing. And for mental health and emotions, you were talking about skiing. When we are, I think even she will agree to it. When we are in a ski shoe, when we wear a ski shoe, even when I wear it on a carpet in my house, just to wear it, there's nothing else that comes in my brain at that moment. It's just skiing. Like when I and it's a very different feel when I wear it in a ground, like in a ski slope. There's nothing. I don't know a word distraction. There's no distraction in my dictionary at that moment. Like it's just me. And once it's a race, I you won't even believe. I don't even listen that. So in India, we don't have a flipper. Like abroad, we have a flipper, which when we just start from the start gate, the flipper just opens, and that's when the timer starts. Here in India, the people catch us from behind, and it's so that we don't start before the timer starts.
Right.
So you won't even believe we used to be so passionate about going into the course and just going to the slope that we sometimes used to pull the person who's catching us with us only till the first gate because we just wanted to rush. And nobody hooting from anywhere could any time distract even 1% of me. Like I used to feel I'm deaf that time. Like not even like can't even hear my name also. If somebody calls me Michelle, stop, I can't hear it. So that was kind of a brain, you can say, or
Mental
the
fitness.
concentration, you can say. Like it was just it, nothing else.
Just in the zone, so to say. What sports did
Yeah,
you
just
play?
that's
Zone.
my zone, that's my slope, that's it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me, are more people taking up the sport now? Is there more? Is it becoming more popular than say 10 years ago?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Definitely, it is, because 10 years ago we had no social media. We do not have the cameras on the field too much, just news channels, one or two news channels. That's it. So, and most of the part in the news channel also, they used to cut just the headlines. They just so that so and so national happened and so participated, and that's it. And now you can see, I think when you even Google you skiing in India, you have a lot of pages opening, lot of people, uh, you know, uh, in on the social media. So I think that there is a lot of difference. because the social media has a great hand in this uh, uh, awareness about skiing.
Right. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start. We have about a couple of minutes left in the discussion. So we're going to play sibling rivalry now. Uh,
Okay.
Both of you have. This is a simple question. Like uh, something who eats food faster. So you have to point at each other or yourself and say I'm the one, or who's better. So let's see. You know who's the more generous or who's the more into themselves, right? A series of questions coming out at you, and we start now. Who's the messier out of the two of you? Who makes more of a mess at home? Okay. Who's dad's favorite? Who's dad's favorite? Okay. Who works harder?
Huh?
Who
Sorry.
works harder at the sport? Who works harder at the sport, at skiing? Who works harder? Okay. Uh, who starts a fight first?
See that cunning face.
Who is more patient? Okay. Fantastic.
Please.
Yeah, good the way we expected. Who is mom's favorite? Okay. Right. Mama's girl, we know that now. Okay. Who's always right?
Oh.
Lovely, fantastic. Who's the crybaby? Okay, if you insist. Who is more likely to get away with mistakes at home? Okay. Who's more rebellious? Lovely. Who is the more studious one out of the two of you? Who's better at studies? Okay. Who cooks better? Okay. And who eats more? Ah,
Can't you see? That's a bad question.
that's not a reflection of anything. And who's the better skier?
Oh.
Definitely. She's got two like me and she both. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. So I think both of you were bang on like we expected. The nastier question was the other person, and the better question was, like taking a selfie. Yes, landscape versus selfie kind of a situation here. So it's interesting. So great catching up with both of you. Great hearing about skiing. I hope sponsors are viewing this. I hope people who matter can help fund and get the right equipment. If not for your generation, for the next generation, it is very, very important that the discussion that we have today inspires younger people to come in, and they don't have to go through the pain points that you have gone in terms of funding, in terms of equipment, in terms of maintaining equipment. I'm not even getting to the other story that happened with you here. I'm talking the very basic things that are needed in any sport, right? And we wish both of you the best, Rachel and Michelle. We hope in the 2022 Olympics team, you guys are there, that
God,
you do
please.
wherever the next nationals are. Not like this, like this. I think we need
Yes,
to see.
for sure.
We need to see that. So yes. So we hope that, and we hope that like Shiva Keshwan is known for winter sport in India. Both of you and other skiers as well bring glory and fame and name and awareness. Like you rightly said, not even 60% of the people in Himachal know about skiing. I think we need to take it down to the grassroots level, to the level where not cricket maybe, but maybe where hockey and football are today, right? Where
Yes.
people are aware. Maybe the two of you can start a business in skiing, getting people over. Who knows, where your passion will lead you. But wonderful having you here. Have a nice evening. Enjoy the dinner. Michelle, eat well. Rachel, eat lesser. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Nice evening. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.